The What to Read Next podcast helps you build a TBR of future favorite books. In each episode, Lauren and Mean interviews authors and book influencers to recommend books they loved for you to pick up today. If you're an avid reader, always looking for your next great read, then the show's for you. Hi, Amanda. Welcome to What to Read Next podcast.
Hi, Laura. Thank you so much for having me.
So happy to have you here. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Amanda Aksel. I write romantic women's fiction, romance, and rom-com. I'm a West Coast transplant by way of the Navy. I grew up as a Navy brat, which actually influenced parts of my book in No Funny Business. I am also married to my high school sweetheart, if you can believe that. And I hope nobody on here does any quick math because we're going to celebrate our 20 years together this weekend, actually, which is like insane. I can't believe it.
That's amazing.
I know, it's nuts, but it's great. It's been great. We're very lucky. We're very lucky to have each other. And right now I am obsessed with yoga, all things wellness, craft cocktails, and the new season of Stranger Things, which I'm absolutely in love with. And I can't wait for the new episodes to come out in July.
Oh my gosh, I love this. And what kind of yoga are you going for? Are you doing restorative, yin, yang?
I do it all. So like 5 years back, I got a wrist injury and it like really never healed properly. So for a long time, I couldn't do it. And then I found these like really cool, like yoga grips, they're almost like little push-up sort of bars. And so now I can do everything. So I do a lot of vinyasa yoga. I do yin yoga, just regular hatha yoga. So actually I decided this year that I really want to do my yoga teacher training. And it's hilarious because all my life I have made fun of women in their 30s who like just all of a sudden decide to get their yoga teacher training. Like I just thought it was so like eat, pray, love. And I just really like made fun of it in my mind. And like, here I am doing that same thing, which I can't believe, but I'm really looking forward to it.
I have to tell you, most of my 30s were spent doing the eat, pray, love thing. I did not do yoga teacher training for some reason. I think I ended up doing like, because I spent the whole time reviewing fitness classes, boutique fitness classes for like a blog. This is very like early 2010, 2012. Like, did I like this class? Did I sweat it out? How are the showers? Like I had to look for, I was like, I couldn't commit myself to yoga teacher training because that was like a commitment. That's like 500 hours. You gotta learn, you gotta take classes, do the poses, then teach other people. So I commend you.
Yeah, well, don't commend me yet. We'll see what happens when I actually get into it, but I think it's going to be good. So you do yoga as well?
I've done yoga. I've done spin. Bar is my first love. It's the one that I love to do, is ballet bar. I haven't found a bar studio here in Tampa. That's one thing I just, before I moved, when I was living in New York and I was planning to move out of New York, I kept looking at what classes were on ClassPass. That's what I used to go check on.
Yeah.
And so I had done all the research for it. And then for Chicago, I was very excited. I moved to Chicago 2 weeks before the pandemic. So I took a couple fitness classes those 2 weeks because what's COVID? I don't know.
Yeah. Exactly. We had no idea back then.
No idea. So when I moved, I haven't been in the studio for about like a year and a half. I did not do the research where I was looking for a place to live. I just looked for like, where's Target? Where's like Starbucks? Where are the things that I do? And I moved
all the essentials
that were essentials for the pandemic, but not the essentials before the pandemic. So I now I'm like left feeling like, oh, the nearest bar studio is like 40 minutes away by car, which is great, except that I don't have a car. So I have to like, it's a whole, do I want to spend like $50 to get there, to go take a class? Like, it's not worth it. But I did invest in a Peloton. So I do have a Peloton that
nice,
so,
that sounds awesome.
But yeah, I love the fitness. I think fitness for me, it's been a way to understand myself and to get the boost of endorphins.
Yes.
get to connect with your body and be like, I'm strong. Like,
Yes,
it is great.
totally.
It is like, and also community. Like, I don't know about you, but like
Mm,
connecting with other people, like-minded
yeah.
people who are in that journey, and like just have that community aspect of it. A lot of the friends that I made in New York were in the fitness community, and it was amazing because you come from
Yeah.
different places where you're like, but we're all like, being tortured for an hour.
Right.
So you feel affinity after being tortured for an hour,
Right.
which
Right. You have like this sort of like shared struggle, that you can
yes.
bond over, right?
You can bond over wanting to kill the instructor. You're like,
Right, exactly.
you know. So
Yes.
so then you're like, oh, we have something in common. Let's hang out.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's so true. I get the same thing out of it. I'm not much of a community, like I don't go to classes. Actually, I'm such a solitary fitness person. Like I do all my work. Like I don't even like to go to the gym. I'm gonna have to eventually start going to the gym if I really want to get stronger. But like I've been doing like workout videos since I was like 10 or something like that. You know what I mean? My mom did yoga video, or not yoga videos. She did fitness videos. What was that guy's name? Oh, I can't think of his name with the crazy hair.
Oh, Richard Simmons. Yes.
Richard Simmons. Yeah. Yeah. All that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
But
if you like, I'll share with you one of the teachers. She actually has some videos and stuff like that, and I've used them. It's Erin Stodland. She was like one of my teachers back in the 2010s when I was happening, and so she teaches affirmations. You yell affirmations while you do movement.
mm,
And so I went through this part community because it used to be another teacher used to teach it. And so there was
yeah,
like this, you go chase that affirmation, chase that, like it was like a mix of aerobics with yoga, with like, a little bit of affirmation and meditation. And you're like, I'm
I
strong.
love that.
Yes. Uh,
Yes.
so thanks to that, like I got to get out of my comfort zone and be like, oh, I can actually do this.
Yeah.
And so I'm always chasing that high of like,
Yeah.
a combination of like, you're actually doing something with your mind, something with your body, and then having
Yeah.
like, a bubble of like, we're going to do this again together.
Right. Right. It's such like a simple way to feel really accomplished and really strong and really powerful,
Mhm.
like just within like 30 minutes or an hour.
Yeah.
Just
So
put in a little bit of work.
a little bit of work. Well, I'm excited
Yeah.
to hear about your journey as you're a
I'll
teacher.
keep you posted.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about no funny business. Tell us the elevator pitch.
All right. So here's the elevator pitch. All right. Midtown Manhattan attorney Olivia Vincent is thrust into the zany world of stand-up comedy when she's given the chance to perform on the late night show in Los Angeles. But here's the punchline. The only way for her to get there is to join the hilarious and sexy stand-up Nick Leto on a cross-country road tour. But there's one condition: no funny business. So now Olivia just has to hack it on the road long enough to become America's next superstar comedian.
All right. So talk to us about this journey of comedy. Like, how do you write this journey, how to write comedy, how to put it in writing, because this world is like, it's a unique world. It's just like the fitness world, the comedy business is the
Yeah,
whole, I've taken improv classes, and like, there's like, it's a whole community aspect of it too.
it is. It totally is. So, some of my research was I interviewed stand-up comedians at various places in their career. I probably watched 10 documentaries about stand-up comedy and stand-up life. And I'm a huge fan of stand-up comedy. So when the opportunity came up to write about a female stand-up, I was like, oh, this is cool because I love stand-up. It's like one of my favorite things in the world.
Mhm.
And so this was kind of my opportunity to pay homage to this art form that I really, really love.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah, yeah. So, but it was very scary because even though I write humor, I am not a stand-up. So when it came time to actually have to write stand-up sets, I was like, oh my God, I don't know if this is gonna work out. And I almost hired an outside like editor to help me punch it up. But in the
Mhm.
end, I didn't end up doing that. So all the stand-up that you're reading in this book is all by me. And I hope you enjoy it. I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing my hands up and being like, I did my best. You know?
I love this so much. I was interviewing one stand-up comedian who's an author, actually, because I've done about 500 of these, but I was like, and I remember hearing about the life, and I was like, yeah, that's not a life that I want to have. Like,
I know, totally. Me neither.
it is tough. It is a tough life, you know, because you got to put yourself vulnerable. You got to put yourself out there, and then like get no laugh, you know, and or even get boo, you know.
Right. But what's nice about it, like as an artist, is you get immediate feedback
Yeah.
when you're performing, as opposed to like being an author where you spend like a year on a book and then you send it out and then you hope that it lands. And if it doesn't, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Write the next book.
Write the next book and then hope it lands again, you know?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So in that aspect, I admire stand-ups because at least they can get, you know, or I mean, like I do like that aspect of it. They get the immediate feedback, you know.
We do. And they can try it again. They're like, you know, fall off, try it again.
Right. It's just writing and editing. It's very similar to, you know, what, you know, novelists do. It's just writing and rewriting and tightening it and making it, you know, sharper and all of that.
Yeah. So, what kind of books do you tend to gravitate for when it comes to reading?
I always say good books. I know that's not a genre.
Okay, so what would be good books for you?
So, I mean, no, I read a variety. I read a lot of women's fiction, which I love. I also love, you know, romance and romantic comedy, obviously all the things that I write. But, you know, I'll find myself reading a sci-fi book every now and then, you know, that my husband will recommend to me, you know, or some other kind of drama or, you know, actually, I am a huge reader of nonfiction. This is hard for me to admit. I never know if I should really ever admit this, but I probably read a lot more nonfiction than I read fiction because I'm just such a student of life and I'm just so curious and I just want to learn everything. So I read everything from like spiritual stuff to self-development stuff to medical stuff, you know, all kinds of how-tos. So I'm big. And obviously I read like craft books, you know, I mean, writing craft books, you know, how to, you know, tighten up my writing, how to self-edit, how to develop characters better. You know, I'm always trying to do those kind of things too. So
I love this. Yeah, I think it's just a combination of things. Honestly, you're gonna find, I think it helps with your writing, especially nonfiction is gonna help you with your writing. Like self-development, stuff like that. You can be like, oh, how can I get this character to do so and so thing, you know? Or actually, you know, that's gonna help you kind of like getting the mindset of the character. So it's gonna inform your writing no matter what, you know.
Yeah, I think everything informs our writing, you know, like it all kind of just comes in. You never know when those little seeds that were planted are going to bloom in your mind or in your book, I should say.
Yeah. Awesome. Do you have any books to recommend our listeners to pick up?
I do. So a few books. So there is this book called Last Couple Standing. I want to say it came out maybe 2 years ago. It's by this author, Matthew Norman. And I discovered him when I just randomly saw it on Instagram. I picked this book up. I fell in love with it. I read all his other books like within the month. And I have such a literary crush on this guy. I'm recommending Last Couple Standing. It's basically about this group of friends that are all like couples friends. It's like, I think it's 4 of them. And they've all recently been divorced except for one. So there's one couple standing. And so this couple is really trying to figure out if there's something to this divorce thing and maybe kind of looking outside their marriage to, you know, regain some of the spark. So it's really funny. It's really thought-provoking. It's interesting. It's well done. So I absolutely love it. And I recommend this in anything that this man writes. So that's one. And then Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I think we've all heard of it. It came out a few years ago. And first of all, I love everything this woman writes. Like everything, I'll just buy it. It's like a one-click thing for me. I think many people feel the same. Many readers feel the same way. But the reason I'm recommending this particular book is, one, I'm obsessed with music right now, and I love like music biography, and I hope to write more about music. I have a little bit of music in No Funny Business, but this is written as a rockumentary. And when I read it, one, I was just enthralled as a reader, but also as a writer. I was like, wow, you can do this in a book. Like you can use a different format to write a book. Like that's amazing. And you don't really notice it once you get into the book. It just reads like a novel. So it works so well. And it's just really cool. So I totally recommend that. And then the last book I'm going to recommend is actually a nonfiction book, because I love nonfiction. And this is a book I recommend to everybody. I especially recommend this book to women. It's called Everything is Figureoutable. It's by Marie Forleo. Have you read it?
I've known Marie Forleo since 2010. It's all the same role, New York.
Oh my God, yes.
She used to follow her YouTube channel. She had a YouTube channel before people had a YouTube channel.
I know, I heard about that. Yeah, I didn't get into her until 2014, so I'm like a little bit behind you.
Yeah, but everything was for her. She had her first book was a dating book, which I found, and she used to teach fitness classes at Punch, I think.
Yeah.
Like, it's one
right.
of those who has reinvented themselves like over and over and over. You're like, oh my gosh,
Yes.
Inspire the journey.
Yes. So that's a book I really highly recommend. I think it's just so succinct and just so powerful. And the exercise in the end changed my freaking life. So if you want to find out what that is, I don't know why I'm selling her book and not mine, but you should totally pick it up.
Okay, so you gotta buy No Funny Business,
and Everything is Figureoutable.
Yeah. I love this. Oh my gosh. Amanda, tell us where we can find you online.
You can find me on my website, amandaaksel.com. That's AKSEL. You can also find me on Instagram at Amanda Aksel and Facebook.com/Amanda Aksel. So I'm Amanda Aksel everywhere.
Thank you, Amanda, for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
If you enjoyed this podcast, feel free to share with friends, subscribe, rate, and review the show. This is the easiest way to support the podcast. For a list of books mentioned and other romance recommendations, please visit watchrenextblog.com. Did you know you can purchase audiobooks directly from your favorite local bookstore? With Libra.fm, you can pick up more than 250,000 audiobooks, including bestsellers and recommendations from real booksellers. You'll get the same audiobooks at the same price as the largest audiobook company, you know the name, but you'll be part of a different story, one that supports the local community. If you're new to audiobooks, they're the perfect way to squeeze more reading into your busy life. Listen with the free Libra.fm app while you do your chores, walk the dog, relax at home. If you already love audiobooks and don't know what to listen next, check out recommendations from people who know the best booksellers. The What to Read Next podcast has a special offer for our listeners. Get two audiobooks on Libra.fm for the price of one with your first month membership. Use code What to Read Next. The offer is valid only for new members in Canada and the US. The What to Read Next podcast is part of the Frolic Podcast Network. Please visit frolic.media/podcast to discover new shows to tune in. Thank you so much for listening and have a great day.